To illustrate the notion of indexing, let's go back to our navigation world. Imagine that we already have cases A, B, C, and D. We might use a very simple indexical scheme to begin with. We might say we'll simply index each case with its initial location, and the initial location will have an x coordinate and a y coordinate. So the case A may be indexed by its initial location, which is 3e and 9n. And similarly for B, C, and D. Now imagine that we have a new case X of going from the office to the restaurant. Recall that we're indexing cases right now very simply by the x, y coordinates of the initial location. So we'll index case X by the x, y coordinates of its initial location as shown here. Let me repeat, this is really a very simple indexical scheme we're using here. As we learned in the KNN lesson last time, we really should be using a more complicated indexical scheme which takes into account both the initial location and the goal location. Nevertheless, this conveys the basic notion of an index. An index is like a tag. At least in principle, we could come up with a fairly rich indexical scheme for this particular class of problems. We don't have to limit ourselves to just the numerical coordinates of the initial and the goal locations. For example, in this navigation micro world, the indices may include whether a route is scenic or not scenic, whether a route is fast or not fast.
So going back to our programming example, we were working with file input, and we could have a very rich indexical structure for organizing cases of file input according to various different parameters and variables. For example, I might tag the individual cases of file input according to whether I use Java, Python, C++. I might tag them according to whether they were very fast or very slow. I might tag them according to what kind of file they read in. Did they read text? Did they read XML? Did they read some other kind of file format? Each of those values then becomes a particular way of identifying each individual case, such that when I'm given a new problem, I can find the most similar case by seeing which one matches the most of those variables.
That's an important point. We want to use an indexical structure which allows for effective and efficient retrieval, because we are storing things only because we want to be able to retrieve them at a later time. In case of design more generally, people have developed indexical structures that have to do with functions, with operating environment, with performance criteria, and so on.